Welcome to the Alternative Hair Alchemist podcast. Now, whether you're one of the hundreds of thousands of women experiencing hair loss for any number of reasons, or if you're curious and want to check out what alternative hair is all about, you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Deborah. I am a certified alternative hair specialist, educator, and the co-creator of a one-of-a-kind, shame-free, stigma-free alternative hair boutique called Very Best Little Hair House, and that's where the magic happens. That's where I help women and men like you find the alternative hair that brings their inner beauty out. We take over where genetics or Mother Nature dropped the ball and help you find and wear the alternative hair that makes you feel vibrant. I've made it my business to discover all there is to know about good wigs and toppers, and I love to talk about them. It's not just hair. It's so much more than that. This is about feeling complete, and if alternative hair is the way for you to do that, I got you covered. Yeah, it sucks when you see your scalp shining through your hair, but you know what? There is joy in finding the right alternative hair, trust me. It can be overwhelming at first. I mean, where do you start? Wig, topper? Oh my God, will somebody know? What if my wig falls off? First of all, take a deep breath, I got you covered. This podcast addresses all things alternative hair. It's not always as easy as just finding a wig and putting it on, so I'm going to give you a tell-it-like-it-is viewpoint from what I see firsthand. I've been through it all: stress, hair loss, alopecia, chemo. So I started my own journey about 20 years ago, and at that time I had nobody to talk to or get advice from, so I am here for you. And I can tell you this, even on my best natural hair day, I never looked or felt as confident as I do in my alternative hair. And now, after 5 years of helping people in my shop get over that fear and get out there, I am bringing this to you to inspire, empower, and educate you. It's simple. When you look good, you feel even better. And if alternative hair is part of that confidence, who cares if you grew it or if you bought it? Forget your grandma's wig and prepare to look red carpet gorgeous. Time to end this shame and stigma. Life is too short not to love who you are, and I want you to get excited about the possibilities. So grab your headphones, feel the love I am sending your way, and let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Alternative Hair Alchemist. This is Deborah Heim here. You can find me at deborahheim.com, at verybestlittlehairhouse.com. We have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page and Instagram, so you can find me at any of those places there. And what I specialize in is helping you find the right alternative hair for yourself, whether it's a wig or whether it's a topper. And a little bit about me, I was a lifetime registered nurse. I opened my shop in 2017 because I wanted to create a place that I hope others would follow in my example, where it's more than just getting a wig. When you get the right alternative hair, it can be the start of a transformation of your whole life. And I see alternative hair as so much more than just getting a wig or a hairpiece. And so this podcast not only is things that I've found that worked for me, you can find many, many influencers and YouTube videos on how to do this or that. And what I want to try and do is educate the public, help you to learn to make better choices if you can't come to my shop. But if you do, when you come through the shop, I teach you everything I know. And if you are in the beginning of your alternative hair journey, you're going to find firsthand that there is a lot of experimentation, a lot of trial and error. And what I can do, whether it's online or in my shop in person, which is even better because I can tell you in 4 years, the things that sell well online, when people can come to my shop and see and feel it on their head, it results in a very different choice. Quite often they will come through the door, or I will get a call saying, do you have this wig? I've seen it on so-and-so. And when they get to the shop, when they try that wig on, it is like the last thing that they leave with. So there's a little bit more into finding the right wig or topper for you than what looks good on me or what looks good on the model. And I have other episodes all about that because there's so much more behind the scenes that goes on with alternative hair. A lot of things going on, a lot of what you've been programmed to believe can affect your choices. And there's a lot of what we call limiting beliefs. And as I went into personal improvement for myself, because I have anxiety and that type of thing, a lot of what I've learned to apply to like business techniques applies also to alternative hair. And one of the most limiting beliefs I see that people have is about certain colors. The number one thing it seems to be when people are wanting either a wig or a topper is they want to pick it by color. And that is not the best way to get the right topper or wig for you. And I'm going to explain some of the differences and why it can be a little bit tricky picking out colors, whether it's online or whether you come to my shop and look at the color ring itself. It's all a little bit of guesswork. And I want to explain to you why I see some of the differences. Number one, every wig is individual. Now, you could order 10 wigs in the same shade, in the same style, and when all 10 come in, they are slightly different. So I see sometimes a lot of overthinking about, well, this doesn't look exactly like this doesn't look exactly like this, and it's not going to. Because even though a lot of wigs are made by machine, you also have a human involved. So it's just like when you're making 12 cupcakes or what have you. All 12 are going to be slightly different. So when it comes to wigs, no matter what the color is, even among the same style and the same brands, you're going to have individual differences that you just can't plan for. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't really matter. I see a lot of people get hung up on the fact that they think this doesn't look exactly like this, or this wasn't the color that I had. But you know what? Looks good. I mean, I think we overthink it. We're a little hard on ourselves. And I can tell you as a professional that makes people look natural in wigs, there's a lot of overthinking or a lot of, I can't wear this color or that color. So I talked about the color ring, and I see a lot of people think that the color ring will be the answer to the problems because, of course, when you're looking at pictures, colors can appear different in different lighting. So you want to be aware of that. You probably already are, but when you're looking at a picture, keep that in mind. So the next natural thing to think is that the color ring would be the answer. And to a certain extent, it is. But most of the wig colors nowadays have several shades in them. So when you get the color ring, the colors that are in the wig are going to be there. They are there in that swatch. However, how they appear on the wig itself is going to be different from wig to wig. So to a certain extent, between some people love the color rings, and if that works for you, that's fine. But I am going to say, whether it's the color ring, the swatch, or looking at the picture, your odds are all pretty much the same as far as accuracy when it comes in. But then again, like I've said before, when it comes in, the result looks beautiful, but I've seen a tendency to focus on one factor or another to think, well, this isn't right. And I can assure you most of the times it is. You look beautiful, whether it's with hair, without hair, the wig looks great. And I say this because I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in wanting to find out exactly how to find the right color. So I'm going to tell you what I know, and you can take the information and decide from there. Another factor that will affect how color looks on a wig is the length of the wig itself. Let's take the example of a color like Caramel Kiss. Most brands have a Caramel Kiss color. You could take any highlighted color that you want to. And the fact is, when you get a pixie, as opposed to a shoulder length or longer wig, the color's going to look different. On a pixie, say Caramel Kiss wig, you are not going to see the same color, dimension, and length of highlights that you would simply because the hair is shorter. I see this in my shop from time to time. People will come in, they will see a shoulder length wig in a color, want to see it. And if it's a highlighted color or a dimensional color, when you get a shorter wig in that length, it's not going to look like that. A couple tips I can give you. Some of the manufacturer wig sites will have pictures of each wig in every color. I find that helpful, especially if it's a highlighted color. Another thing you can do is Google that shade and that wig style name and see if anybody has posted pictures or a video. And I do find pretty good luck in that on YouTube. One of the things I do if I'm between colors is I will go to YouTube and look for a review, because there are so many people out there now sharing their alternative hair journey. So that is one of the things I can recommend to you, is sometimes seeing it in a review on someone else. Now, take into account that the wig may not look like that on you once you get it, but you're able to see a little better. And I've even seen some people that will take two colors and compare them against each other in the same video. And I find that like really one of your best things you can do if you're trying to decide on a color. Another thing that is different about colors than what I call the olden days is that back in the days, you could buy wigs by color, like 4, 6, 12. And to an extent, the companies still use those numbers, but it's pretty much an outdated system because so many of the colors have dimensions, have roots, what have you. So choosing a color can be, that makes it a little bit more complicated as well. There are some vendors like Ellen Villa that know that not every wig looks good in every color or can look better in a certain color. And that is one of the brands that there will be certain colors for certain styles, and you can't get that color in another style. And that's because of, back to the individual nature of a wig. Some are going to look better in some colors than others. So when you are looking for a color of a wig, if you're choosing it by style, by fit, which is how we do in our shop, usually I find what fits your head first, and then the style we like, and then I look at the colors available for that, and we go from there. Because when you are wearing a wig or a topper, the number one thing to affect if you're going to look natural in it or not is choosing the right size for you. The other major differences in color can be going from synthetic to human hair. Now, with today's synthetics, with your better synthetics, the colors look amazing. They've done really good jobs at putting shading, highlights, money pieces, intentional highlights around the face. And you, coming straight out of a box, your synthetic wigs are always going to look more of what I call the wow factor than human hair. When you get human hair, they come in, the colors are not so dynamic, and that's where a professional alternative hair colorist can help you. There are several that I follow, but when you are coloring a human hair wig, the color is different from when you're dyeing your own hair because there's many factors, including body heat and processing time. So again, that's one of the things I always seek the help of a qualified professional for. I did some experimentation early on with lesser expensive human hair. I mean, I always admit I don't have much skills as a hairdresser, but the results were not anything that I would look forward to wearing, let's put it that way. And don't forget, there are very many individual human hair artists. I follow several of them. They are the hairstylists and make wigs themselves, usually one by one. And that is another great place to get your custom color, or at least ask somebody that knows what they're doing. So you can look for that as well. And the last thing I want to talk about with my experience with color is in the history of my shop, I told you how it works. We come through the door, we measure your head, we try everything on up to an hour, and that's where the choices come in, because Like I said, when you come in my shop, you may come through the door thinking you want a certain wig, but once you try that wig on, when you're able to try on, not 5, not 10, we generally try on like 20 wigs in the hour. You would be surprised what you might find. And often the color, someone will come through the door, they will want a color because they think that was what they should wear or have worn all their life. So we do our process, we get it down to a certain style, and they will sit there looking totally perfect in that color. And they may even want to wear that color, but it's just the nerves or the change thing, which is where I get into your limiting belief. So what we do generally is I will keep that wig in the shop. We will order the color they think they want. But when the person comes in the history of the shop for the 4 years, when they get that color in that they thought they wanted in the first place, they go with the one they tried on originally, which is crazy. But that is one of the things that prompted me to do my podcast, things when I see that type of effect. So when you order a color expecting it to look a certain way on you, sometimes it's not the color itself. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. I think that type of thing is fascinating. How I can't tell you how many colors we've ordered. People always end up going with the color that they wish they would have worn in the first place. So keep that in mind, because if you come to my shop, you're going to end up with something you love. And as far as online, I can do that as well. Sure, you may not be able to try on all the wigs that you would if you came in person. However, I know how those wigs fit on other people. So sometimes just by brainstorming with me, it can help you get on the right track. And certainly that's why I call myself the alchemist, because sometimes you will end up with something you didn't even expect. My intuition and my knowledge of wigs, I work all of that into it. And you should love your life and love your wig. If I can help you, I would love to do that. And until next time, peace, love, and alternative hair. If you loved this episode and want to connect with me, please go to my website and drop me an email, verybestlittlehairhouse.com, so we can get in touch. And until next time, remember that you are beautiful, perfect, and loved just the way you are.